So I loaded the kayaks, and when I went to test them, I pushed up on it, and that piece is moving. So I strapped it down just to hold it. Welcome to Way of Fishing, everybody. My name's Way, and this is my channel. Been kind of dormant for a minute, but we're getting back to it. And today's video, we're going to do a long-term review of this truck rack. So I'll link it. There's a video where I built this truck rack years ago. I think it's been built for at least 2 years. I built this out of Unistrut, painted it, designed it, everything myself, and mounted it to my 2009 Tacoma. There were a couple of my friends who was like, "You're gonna bolt that together and drive down the highway?" And they thought I was kind of crazy. I can't weld, and this is galvanized steel. You should not weld galvanized steel unless you're really good. It does give off a gas that can really mess you up. So I opted not to FAFO. So we bolted it. It worked. So everybody who thought it was gonna come apart, it worked. I've had it on here for thousands of miles. Richmond to the Outer Banks multiple times. I've had it in 35-mile-an-hour winds with 3 kayaks on it, 30 rods, like everything strapped to it, bikes on it. I've had it off-road with kayaks on it, driven 3 or 4 miles down the beach to the point in Outer Banks. I've gone up into the Blue Ridge off-road with kayaks on top of it, like straight trail riding, and it held up. It did break, but again, it lasted for thousands of miles. I don't even know how many miles, 2 years. It had a bird strike, so it's got a dent up here on this front crossbar, right here behind the cab. Bird hit it on the highway, shook the entire truck, like my whole truck rocked. I thought I hit something in the road. I pulled over, and there were feathers jammed into the paint. So I hit something big, maybe an owl, a hawk, a goose, I don't know. But it bowed the steel and rocked the whole truck, and it is still on here. It did not come off. I was doing about 75 miles an hour. So I am going to take this off today. And so I figured, since it's going bye-bye, that we'd go ahead and do a review video. If you go watch my old video, I walked you through like kind of how I made it to the best of my ability. You too can do this. It will take you many hours and lots of Diablo Steel Demon blades to do this, but you can do this. It's all galvanized, gusseted. I bolted it together, no welding. The one part that failed, so down here are 1/8-inch galvanized steel plates. I did take them to a metal fabricator here in Richmond, and it's got a bin that comes up inside the bed, and then it comes over, and then it kind of goes back to like, so it's a 90 to like a 70, not quite a 90, it's like a 70-degree bin. And so if you look back here, see if the camera will come back here, right here, I've got a yellow strap. That yellow strap is holding the rack on the truck. So I loaded the kayaks, and when I went to test them, I pushed up on it, and that piece is moving. So I strapped it down just to hold it. I'm not surprised that that failed. That's only about 1.3 inches. Dang, I just shot a whole 20 minutes of video and I never recorded anything. What an epic fail. New camera, don't know what I'm doing. But I got the kayak rack off the truck. I regretted that as soon as I started doing it. I got it halfway off the truck and I was like, oh, I messed up, I need another person. But we persevered and we got it off. So let's take a quick look at it and see how it's fared after 2 years of being outside in the elements in Virginia and having bird strikes. I don't think we need the wide angle. When I first built it, I tried to use foam and put the kayaks down. So these are 80-inch bars. Didn't work. Then I went to HDPE. That did not work. That was a bad idea. But I would recommend Malone Wings. They did a good job. The paint, I sprayed this with Rust-Oleum DIY bed liner, and it held up except for the areas where it was really buffeted by wind, like these top bars here. You can see the paint came off, and on the large flat surfaces, I had a lot of paint loss. So it's pretty easy to touch up though. Here, it's gonna be hard to tell, but this is where the bird hit it. It's curved a little bit, but you can't really tell that much at all. I do have lights on it. We'll get to that. I used waterproof connectors underneath the truck to connect the lights, and they worked really well. No complaints there. I had the fist grips. That's a fist grip. And this is a fist grip to hold my kayak paddles. The goal when I built this was to keep as much stuff out of the bed as possible and keep my room. And it worked. It worked. Ignore this. I was trying to figure out how to hang a bike from the side, and I never finished that project. You can see the paint loss there, but with the Rust-Oleum, it was really easy to touch this up. I just had adhesion problems to the galvanized metal. These are Nylite ditch lights off of Amazon. 2 years, give or take, and probably a little bit over 2 years. They never fogged up, they never condensed, I never had any problems, they always worked. These are sequential brake lights off of like a UTV. I added these just in case my tail light was, my third brake light was obstructed with the kayaks. Worked out pretty good. And there are rock lights tucked up under here. None of the lighting on this ever quit. The lighting held up the whole time. So no complaints there at all. Here's the foot that broke. So this was a piece of metal about that wide that came up at a 70 degree. I'm not surprised that that's where my failure point was. Really needed to be a lot wider, a lot beefier here. Yeah, that's it. I mean, you can, other than some paint loss, this thing held up. I would really expect that I could have driven this for another 2 years and not had any issues from it. Probably so. Would I recommend you do this? If you have the skill to cut metal and you can think abstract on how to build things and put it together, absolutely. That was a project that served me very well. Like I said, thousands and thousands of miles, like 50,000 miles, something crazy, you know, like I drove a lot. It was an hour each way to work, going fishing up into the Blue Ridge, Maryland, Potomac, North Carolina. Like I was all over the place. And it held up. I mean, it was all over the place with multiple kayaks on top. Extra weight. I had rods up there. I had paddles, 3 kayaks. Like I put everything on it and I never was worried. It, you know, aside from that one failure point, it did good. So it was a great idea. It worked really well. If you do it, it'll work really well for you too. In the next video, we'll cover why I had to take this off the truck, but we're gonna save that for another video. I don't have enough light to film that and it's cold, so I don't wanna do it. So yeah, would recommend. And maybe if I don't end up using this, maybe it'll be for sale. Maybe not. I know when it was new, I had a lot of people that wanted to buy it. So I'm kind of tossing around the idea of if I wanna relaunch this project and try to do something different or keep it. But we'll save that for the next video. And appreciate all you guys. Thank you for watching my way of fishing. Get out there and fish your way. Peace.